SEC schedule. Are you ready for it? Doesn't matter, it's here. Hard to match the feels of the opener, and it's a top 15 matchup from Bogle Park as Arkansas welcomes in Georgia. Hi fans, alongside of JB Brazil, I'm Josh Haley. Glad to have you with us. Man, cannot match the energy flowing through this place right now.
Oh, it's so exciting. Conference play is here, right? SEC opening day for both of these teams. They played a super tough non-conference schedule to get set up for this matchup. There's a lot of firepower, really, in both of these lineups, Josh.
Well, how about Sarah Gordon so far this year for Georgia? She is lighting the world on fire.
No kidding. Her numbers speak for themselves, but she has got all kinds of pop. 541 average to begin the season, having a dream start. And that power that she shows too, my goodness, she's not the only one in the lineup, but certainly Gordon, you got to watch out for her. She is legit.
Yeah, somebody else you got to watch out for. You know, Kaylee Wyckoff said, you know, last year hitting above 350, that was nice, but let me just step it up a few hundred notches.
No big deal, 490 average, getting set for conference play. Wyckoff was huge, a 2-home run day last weekend in the Whoopit Classic against Omaha, picked up a big win. She was the hero in that game, and she's a veteran. She's been a hero really all year long for Arkansas, but they got pop in the lineup too.
Yeah, they do. How about Robin Herron, the senior left-hander? Just her typical self, one of the nation's best.
Certainly is. Just the way that her presence in the circle, throws mid-60s, got a spinny, a rise, curve change. Really, she's got just about everything. She's tough to hit because of that. She locates well. She's really, really tough.
Well, this Georgia lineup is tough as well, hitting .369 as a team on the year. They've already homered 37 times, and the production can come from anywhere, including Jaden Goodwin, who we'll see in this first inning.
Yeah, very similar to what you see in Arkansas. The pop, the average, the run production. Both of these offenses are legit. All the pitchers this weekend are going to get tested, and the wind's blowing out. Should be a lot of bombs.
SEC softball is underway as Robin Herron deals in a first pitch strike to Kirsten Ruse. Senior filling that leadoff spot like they expected her to, hitting .403. Takes a big cut at that pitch as she leaned back. Your home plate umpire, Cameron Ellison, Stephen Gould at first, and Marty Abazishian down at third base. The 0-2. Grounded to short. Natalia Rios got it. Fires over to first, and there's one down.
How about that start from Robin Herron? She attacked the zone. That's what you love to see from your start. That's what you get. Just kept on filling the zone, but nothing really too tough to handle. Gets that ground out to begin the game.
Brings up Delaney Sullivan. First of two left-handed bats in this Bulldogs lineup that go back-to-back. It kind of goes without saying too, JB, especially when you get into conference play and the Friday starter, whoever that may be. But if you see a pitch you like, whether it's the first pitch or the second pitch, you better go after it because you might not get another good one.
That's a great point. And that's why, you know, you see these offenses, the teams they played early in the non-con, certainly good pitching, but you're seeing elite pitching this weekend. So you got to take advantage when they throw one or make a mistake.
Well, you asked Courtney Deifel kind of what the preparation looks like on how they want to attack hitters, and they're able to get a lot more granular once you get into conference play than what they've been, say, in the past in those non-conference weekends.
Yeah, you got fewer games to prep for. You have a little bit more time, too, certainly with the break that Arkansas had. Georgia didn't get that luxury with that midweek against Georgia State, but you're right, Coach Deifel, they dive into that stuff, and they know how to prepare on Tuesday in practice to get ready for conference play.
Got her swinging.
That's some giddy up on that one from Robin Herron. You get a two-strike approach, you've got to always think they might come with the heater, and she did. Look at this velo behind, just tough to catch up. That's really not fair. Sullivan doing all she could to try to fight it off, but that's a big battle won for Robin Herron.
Brings up Jaden Goodwin, who goes after the first pitch. .358 hitter so far this year for the senior Jaden Goodwin. This ball is roped towards deep center field. It's gone.
Man, that ball was crushed, and that's the thing with this Georgia lineup. You got to get 3 outs on the board. They can start 2-out rallies in a hurry, and you see it right there with Jaden Goodwin. Goodbye softball for her 5th home run of this season. This ball was touched. She was sitting on that one, elevated, and slaps that to deep center field.
Bulldogs on the board here in the first. As a first pitch strike to Sarah Gordon. Those are the kind of swings that she had been used to, as we saw earlier from what she did last weekend. Gordon, the team lead with 7 homers. Blowing away that time for a ball. The infield for the Razorbacks, Tiana Bell, Carly Davison, Natalia Rio, and Ella McDowell at third. Brinley Bain is behind the dish. Kennedy, Johnson, and Walker, the outfield left to right. You better get a good read off the bat and get a good first step if you're in the outfield today with that wind blowing out.
No question. It's going to be an adventure. I think it's also, you know, the pitchers have to keep that in mind too. And Robin Heron's one that doesn't get too rattled, even though it is a hitter's count to Gordon here.
Three and one now. That home run, the 6th that Heron has given up this year in 38 innings pitched. Fouled off. Now it becomes a battle.
Certainly not going to give up easy as Robin Heron. And this is a Georgia lineup that's faced some really good competition. A dogfight against Oklahoma State. They lost 6-5, but big wins over Nebraska and Duke, top 25 programs. So they've seen good pitching. They're no stranger to these moments.
Payoff is up high for ball 4. Tried to get her to chase a rise ball. And Sarah Gordon not having any of it.
That's what you see from a veteran. A great take right there. Just lets that pitch keep rising high, lays off. You get a lot of swing and miss on those pitches, but your veterans like Gordon, they lay off.
So here's Tyler Ellison with 2 outs. First pitch, sliced off foul.
How big is that for Georgia, though, right? To get off to that start, it looked like they were, you know, struggling to begin, first 2 outs, but that's the part of the lineup for Georgia. You just can't ever count them out 1 through 9. They can do damage, and you saw that out of the 3 spot with Goodwin.
I think so. That's going to give them a big mental boost in that dugout, saying, hey, Robin Heron's one of the best, but if we stick to our approach and attack, we can find some runs, and they find them early. And then Gordon with that walk, not letting Heron rebounds by getting the next batter to get out of the inning. Making it tough on her. Just a little soft liner will fall into right field. Tyler Ellison with a base hit. So after the first 2 of the inning retired, 3 straight reaching safely for Georgia.
I think you go back to that tone set. Goodwin with that home run ball. Not only are you up 1-0, but now you know the inning's not over, so they just keep flipping it over. Gordon getting on base with a great at bat. I think that was probably the key, was that 3-2 take. Ellison fights off, gets a good single, and now they've got a chance to add more.
Just outside for ball 1 to the catcher, Marissa Miller. Away for ball 2. Hitters count here. Final 2 appearances last weekend for Robin Heron were shutout efforts, going 3 innings in both. One against Omaha and then Sunday against Kansas. 11 strikeouts, 3 walks, and only 3 hits in those final 6 innings pitched last weekend. taken all the way there as Herron dots the outside edge.
Yeah, she's nibbling a little bit, and you like that. You certainly would, and I think Coach Baldwin talked about the margins, right? You'd rather miss and walk than maybe give up a 3-run bomb, so you got to be careful, but you're also got to be expert in your location. Herron is that, but Miller's had some really nice takes.
Takes ball 4. That's a good job to be calm at the plate after the 3-0 pitch was in there for a strike. Might have been easy to say, I know I'm getting a strike here. No way she's going to walk him loaded, but Miller, the veteran, stayed disciplined. And here comes Courtney Deifel to talk with Robin Herron in the infield for the Razorbacks here.
There's a lot going on. If you're Coach Deifel, naturally, you're just going out there to talk to your veteran. Say, hey, let's figure out a way to come back and get that strike zone. You're trying to establish the zone, right? The home plate umpire starts that early, so you try to figure where that's at. You want to come over and you want to get ahead with the bases loaded. On the flip side, if you're Novicus here, and Coach Baldwin's talking, hey, you got a chance to do some damage. There's a chance where she's going to, the zone may be a little tighter to begin the game. You might get something fat. Don't miss it, right? Stay within, good compact swing, try to drive in a run here. But you also don't want to get too over aggressive either and pop something up, so you got to be very selective.
In her 9 appearances this year, only twice had Herron walked 2 in a ball game. Has not walked more than 2 in any game this year. So the 2 here in the first inning, very uncharacteristic. Novicus going after the first pitch.
I really like that approach, really, from both pitcher and hitter. Herron's got to get ahead, does, kind of challenges in. Novicus was aggressive. I like that approach too, but it was Herron that wins the battle. Still a 1 count, so early in the at-bat.
Swing and a miss, nothing in 2.
Had some confidence from Robin Herron. Really went back to the same pitch, same result, maybe a little bit higher. She's in the driver's seat. Novicus is going to have to battle.
Way up high, and a good job by Brinley Bain to go and get it.
Yeah, as a freshman too, right? I mean, she plays so confidently offensively, but I think her defensive ability kind of gets overlooked because of how great her offensive start to the season has been.
Battled off, that's what you got to do here if you're Novicus, just covering up, protecting with 2 strikes.
And I don't know if you can realize how hard that is for Novicus. That's some velo up and away just to get some type of bat on that to stay alive.
Got her swinging, almost the same spot. Herron said, I know you caught up to it once, but I bet you can't do it again. And she gets out mitigating the damage, but 1 run for Georgia. We'll introduce you to the Hogs lineup when we come back. Paul, matchup in this SEC opener. Georgia goes with trusted lefty Randy Rolling.
Yeah, you love to see both teams going with lefties. Rollings, this is not a stranger from Arkansas, right? She faced him last year in the SEC tournament. Pitched well. Coach Baldwin was talking about her effort, but got maybe touched up. Defense didn't help her out a lot, but she sits 63-65, got a screw rise, drop and a change. She battled a lot of walks last year, Coach said, but hey, she's adjusted. He said maybe too much the other way. Throws too many strikes on a day with the wind blowing out could be dangerous.
Yeah, against this tough Razorback lineup. And what about that freshman Brinley Bain down there in the 5-hole? Been lighting it up this year. Reagan Johnson's been lighting it up for her whole career, though, and she'll try to get them started off on the right foot.
Yeah, I find it hard to believe that Bain's a freshman, frankly. And then Johnson, as you mentioned, starting really since she got on campus. She's been a mainstay. 1 through 9 Arkansas, much can be said the same as Georgia. They've just got firepower up and down.
Two veteran pitchers here today in the opening day matchup. This is career appearance number 77 for Randy Rolling from Modesto, California. Fires in a strike, 2-1.
And I think you see the zone, not that it's a bad zone at all. It's you got to adjust as a pitcher and a hitter, but it might favor hitters a little bit, so wouldn't be surprised early to see some good contact from these hitters.
That just on the bottom edge for a strike.
That is a dandy. Got some velo. Falls off the table. That's a really tough take. Certainly not a hitter's pitch to even the count.
Johnson, one hop back to the circle. Rolling's got it. And to first in time. One away here in the bottom of the first inning. Defensively for Georgia, Novickis over there at first base. Kirsten Ruse at second. Emily Digby at short. Bailey Lindemuth at third base. And Marissa Miller behind the plate. Goodwin, Sullivan, and Gordon the outfield left to right for the Bulldogs.
You know, even on that throw out of Johnson, it was still really close. I mean, not close enough to review naturally, but that's what she can do with her speed, even on routine plays like that.
Dakota Kennedy steps in and takes a strike as she pulled the barrel back.
How big was it get for Coach Deifel to get Dakota Kennedy to campus from Arizona? Gold Glove Award winner back in 2024. Defense is there, but her offense is so impressive too.
And with some key veterans lost from last year's team, yes, you did bring back some veterans, but you lost some great ones as well. And so it's good to find some of that in the portal players like Dakota Kennedy who know how to get it done in the postseason.
And I know ratings and rankings don't mean a ton, but Dakota Kennedy in preseason there, D1 softball, was the highest rated player in the lineup for Arkansas. So she's certainly getting a lot of accolades and a lot of praise.
Got her swinging. And a good start for Randy Rolling.
Similar to what we saw with Robin Herron. Now, look at that pitch. That's a great stuff against Kennedy. Some velo dropping, gets the K. Well, we saw Robin Herron do similar, right? Got a ground ball to begin the game, then a strikeout. Same thing for Rolling. Ground ball, strikeout. She does not want to have the same faith as Robin Herron, though. Try to get a tough out on Ella McDowell.
McDowell takes ball one. Swing and a miss, Steve in the count.
Love the location from Rolling. She's just mixing it up. Got a lot of juice. Gets there quickly. Even though the velo 63, 66, it really gets up on you quick. It's tough to pick up. She hides it well. But McDowell's a good hitter, too, so you got to be careful.
What about last year for McDowell, JB? She was a .352 hitter on the year, but .366 in conference play. That's not supposed to happen.
That's right. Especially as a freshman, right? I think you're seeing that from Arkansas. The freshmen they get are just built different.
She must have not been paying attention on the day when they mentioned that your average goes down in SEC play.
No doubt. I mean, Ella McDowell for Arkansas is such a fun personality, energetic player. Now in her sophomore season, certainly the sky's the limit for the third baseman.
Not only the good offensive numbers, but she was among the toughest in the SEC to strike out last year, only 1 per 17 at bats. I mean, if you're double digits as far as strikeouts per at bats, how many per? If you're double digits, that's among the best. But 1 every 17?
It's crazy.
Has followed suit with that this year. Only 1 strikeout per every 20 ABs.
And I think you see it with McDowell, right? She fights off pitches that are close. She's just trying to stay alive to get something maybe she can handle or draw a walk. So it makes it tough on a pitcher and you labor a little bit.
We're seeing it here.
Yeah, even there, I mean, that's a strikeout pitch. That's rising up. McDowell's able to just get enough to stay alive because you're not really going to be able to drive that. Just hanging tough till you get a mistake or you draw a walk. That's really the name of the game as a hitter.
Payoff. She takes it the other way. Into the gap. McDowell on her way to second. That is one heck of an at-bat.
Boy, it sure is. 3-2. Went with it. Outer portion. Might have been a little elevated, too. And Ella McDowell bangs it to right center field. That's what you see from veteran hitters. She's just a sophomore, folks. But, man, up and away, goes with it. barrels it to the right center field gap. And much like Georgia and Arkansas, we're going to sound like a broken record. 2-out rallies. They're no stranger for either of these programs.
Fourth double of the year for McDowell. Here is Tiana Bell. Big cut at the first pitch.
You know, Josh, always a fun matchup. But these two former teammates, Tiana Bell and Rolling. Randy Rolling both played at California. Rolling was a freshman. Tiana Bell was a sophomore. So they're reunited. You know there's a little bit of competition between these two.
Things coming full circle. Rolling's got the advantage right now.
They both played for Coach Chelsea Spencer, who was the head coach at Cal at the time.
Got her on 3 pitches, and Rolling responds after the double with her second strikeout of the frame. It's Georgia with a 1-0 lead after 1. For the Bulldogs, and how about 3 consecutive super regional appearances? Both of these teams kind of in a similar situation as they've been so close to getting to the Women's College World Series. For Georgia, they've been there 5 times, and Baldwin was on the staff, of course, the last time they did it. But among all other things, heck of a lot of fun to talk to.
Oh, man, wasn't he? Certainly, such a fun guy. Gave us so much. You could tell he really cares about Georgia softball and the program, really the players, everything that he's got going. Reminded me a lot of Coach Deifel. Very similar. You could tell why they both respect each other so much.
Indeed. Bulldogs brought 7 to the plate in that first inning. It's Emily Digby stepping in, and she's ahead 2-0. That's a good pitch. Right on the outside edge for Robin Heron.
You know, Coach Baldwin's got to be pleased with the schedule that he put together, right? 5th in the country in strength of schedule, but it prepares you for opening play of conference. And that's what you want. I'm sure he was tickled to death with his start to this game with Goodwin going big fly. You got to have those hot starts against really good pitchers like Robin Heron.
To tell you about the effectiveness of Robin Heron in the circle this year, she's got 9 appearances, JB, only 6 starts, but 8 wins, a perfect 8-0.
Man, talk about a player that comes in and it immediately impacts, right? She could really mow you down, so she's so tough to square up.
Got jammed that time, muscling it into center field, but Reagan Johnson runs it down.
Yeah, the wind out to center may not have helped that one in terms of getting on base for Digby, because you got Reagan Johnson, who's like Flash out there in center field. Just bloop it. She's probably going to come in and get that. Her range out there in the outfield's unreal.
Courtney Deifel said early in her career that she's got one of the best first steps she's ever seen. Not many center field, you're expected to cover a lot of ground, but she covers about 70% of the outfield.
I can imagine being a left fielder or right fielder, right? Sometimes you get so accustomed to her making the catch, you may just think if it's to my left or it's to my right, depending on where you're at. Johnson's probably going to get it.
To Lindemuth. Skied up. Here's the play for one of the corner outfields. Ramsey Walker. Hardly had to move that time.
That's right. If you go a little bit more to the left, Johnson can probably get there, but still going to be a right fielder's ball. How about Heron settling in, though? Gets 2 big outs to begin the second. I mean, getting out of that jam was huge for Robin Heron.
Well, Georgia leaving the bases loaded in that first inning. After the solo home run, it went walk, hit, and walk. Heron able to get a strikeout, 2 in the first inning. And so we'll see how the Bulldogs do second time through with Kirsten Roos here, who grounded out to short to start the ball game.
She's a home run threat, too. 9 home runs on the season out of the leadoff spot. You don't see that a ton, but talk about tone setting. Roos is certainly that.
That's in for a strike. Now, this is career 97 of the appearances for Robin Heron, 63rd start. Right off of Heron's glove. Tough play for Davison, but makes it look easy. The nation's best fielding team. They make plays that sometimes even shouldn't. Davison takes care of it. 1-0 Georgia. Well, Courtney Deifel, the incredible job that she's done in building this into one of the nation's elite programs, climbing up the ranks in the SEC. Two-time season champ, SEC tournament championship, and has become a mainstay here for a regional host site in Fayetteville at Bogle Park. The wins are just going to keep on coming, though, when you build a culture and a program like she has in just over a decade of work.
It's really fascinating to see what she's done. I mean, as a player, she found success. 4 College World Series appearances, right? 1 in her time, too. And then she's just brought that championship-level softball to Fayetteville. Every stop she's been, Louisville, Maryland, you name it. Coach Deifel has got Arkansas on the map. And that's how you land players like Brinley Bain.
That's right. Grounded to the right side. Kirsten Roos all over it. And they retire one of the nation's best hitters, not just one of the nation's best freshmen, but best overall. Bain coming in hitting .532, but they sit her down first time up.
That's a great point. It was hit well, barreled, but just kind of rolled over the top. So she hit it on the button, but that'll slow it down. Nice play from Roos to get the out. It's a big first out because Bain can really get things started.
Here's Kaylee Wyckoff. Speaking of, you might have a good lineup if spots 5, 6, and 7 are hitting a combined .504.
That's ridiculous, isn't it?
Now that's you kind of have to throw out the old time logic of, okay, we can relax a little bit bottom of the order or bottom half of the order. No, not the case. Not so much.
I think that's where you see the game has evolved a lot over the last handful of years, is the offensive power and the numbers that you see. You used to only see 1 or 2 pitchers that a team would throw. But now, because of the scouting, the video that you have on everybody, the hitters have gotten better, so you have to have more pitchers on staff.
Five left-handed bats in this Razorback lineup this afternoon. That's an attention getter. Foul off the bat, but home run power.
Whew. Sure did. That was turned on, but naturally well out in front was Wyckoff. But I think that's what you see really with a lot of these hitters. You just can't make a mistake. You saw Wyckoff with a pop there.
Two. How about it? Randy rolling.
Man, that's some expert painting right there. Going outside corner, lots of movement. Man, must have just nicked the corner. That is a big-time pitch from Randy Rolling against Wyckoff, who is locked in at that at-bat. That's the pitch you need to get it out. Great job.
Brings up Carly Davison. Takes ball 1. Only one strikeout in 45 at-bats for Carly Davison this year.
Almost have to double pump and look at you, make sure you're not lying. But I got the stat sheet in front of me, too. It's legit. Those are real numbers.
Well, those are the types of things that I think sometimes get overlooked, especially when you get into conference play. You never know how the games are going to go, but, you know, for all intents and purposes, you expect to be in a close game throughout the entire weekend series. And so things like not striking out, even if you're retired, but just being able to put the ball in play and put pressure on the defense and advance runners if the situation calls for it. A lot of value in what Carly Davison does.
Yeah, just doing a job, just finding a way to help her team. And in the day and age when pitching is super good too, right? So it's tough to not strike out, to hit against such good pitching. Davison does it night in and night out. And really, ever since she's been on campus her whole career.
It's taken all the way there. She'll be on her toes here now at 3-1. Second batter that's worked a full count against Rolling.
See that C on her jersey. She's a captain, one of the captains on this team for a reason. She's so mature in her at-bats and her approaches. Just a little bit out in front of that pitch. So now full, kind of even between pitcher and hitter here. It's a big pitch.
Roped into left field for a base hit. She was dialed in with that swing.
It sure was. Just hammered that to the pull side. Wasn't a bad pitch from Rolling either, mind you. Lower in the zone, that's what you want. You usually get the ball back on lower pitches. Davison still squared it up. And now with 2-out rallies, what Arkansas is looking for.
Talia Rio gets hit, first pitch.
Just got away from Rolling a little bit up and in. I think it's not a bad call here to just kind of settle down the troops here. Meeting of the minds. Because you got a 9-hole hitter who's no joke and Ramsey Walker about to step in. I mean, you've got run-producing options 1 through 9, so no batter do you get a break. But that's why you see 2-out rallies started with both of these lineups. They can do it 1 through 9.
You'll love seeing players that have a story. There's not a lot of them, but like Ramsey Walker, you know, limited time last year as a freshman in such a deep roster, but put in the work, developed, and man, she is making the most of her opportunities here in 2026, hitting .462.
There's something to be said about staying the course, right? Waiting your turn. You don't see that much in college athletics anymore, just with the talent that Arkansas's got and Georgia's got both. Players typically leave if they don't play, but both of these programs get those players to stay, even when they're not playing. I think that's what makes it the most difficult. But they wait their turn, they do get a chance, and then when they get called upon, they deliver more times than not.
Soft pop-up off the cap of the bat, and Gabby Novickus makes the catch. Randy Rolling and Georgia bend but don't break, and they keep the 1-0 lead intact. Back in Fayetteville, 1-0 Georgia leading Arkansas in the SEC opener. Hard to beat the fun of these Fridays, and these two were so excited to open up conference play, they had to move it up 5 hours. It's rumored that it was to beat some impending weather, but the real reason is they were just too excited to play.
I think you're right, Josh. I think that's what it was.
Delaney Sullivan, first pitch. Little soft liner dropped into left field.
That's the first leadoff hitter of the game for either side. That's a great job from Sullivan. who struck out last time against Taryn to be a little bit more aggressive. Didn't barrel it, but placed it perfectly to give a good chance here.
Trying to get a bunt down. Jaden Goodwin. How about last time up, JB?
Yeah, no big deal. Liner to deep center. Wind, did it help it? I don't know, probably, but she tattooed that to center, and that's the only scoring of the game thus far.
Her 5th long ball of the year. Pushed her RBI total to 16. That's a player that Coach Tony Baldwin said she's a model for what we want Georgia softball to be, and has done a great job in all facets. The 0-2 has popped out of play, but this one really is what I think sets her apart from a lot of players. Coach Baldwin said she's done a great job managing failures to set an example for younger players. It's easy to set an example when things are going right, but what about when they're not?
That's a really good point. So impressive with what Goodwin has done. Because you want those types of players in your program for your freshman, for your sophomore, really for anybody, but certainly the younger players, because you're going to fail. Softball is a sport where if you're successful 30% of the time, that's good. And the case for both of these teams at 500 or better seems to be the standard.
Sullivan able to get down to second base. That's big. They don't have to give up an out to do it. Good read on that pitch that was down in the dirt, and she's going to get to third here.
Kind of uncharacteristic of Robin Heron, back-to-back, getting away from her there. So Georgia's certainly licking their chops now to try to at least get a run here, right?
Oh, and Arkansas is thinking the same thing. Infield's going to be on their toes. Got her to chase one. Got to throw down to first to complete it, and they do. So that's a big step for Heron and Arkansas, but not out of trouble yet.
Those two wild pitches, or past whatever it ended up being, were actually ended up working. That last one got away. It almost was a setup pitch. I don't think it was intentional, naturally, but went low again and got swing and miss with a tough hitter.
First pitch low to Sarah Gordon.
With her power, this is not a bad idea if it's intentional or not to try to live lower in the zone. If you walk, you can live with that. Double play would be in order potentially. You just don't want to come over the heart of the plate to Gordon. She can hit it a long way. I mean, that's two straight low, below the zone. I think that's the idea. Don't leave something elevated to Gordon, because with the wind blowing out and her pop, you're not getting it back more times than not.
Well, Gordon hitting .541 on the season, but that number goes up in the situation with runners on base. She's a .600 hitter.
Yeah, I would imagine Coach Deifel, Coach Michael, Coach Gassel, they've done their homework. They know that too.
That's why she's in the cleanup spot. Here's the 2-0. Doesn't have to be a heroic swing here, but just find a way to get that runner in. That's the objective for Gordon and Georgia.
Yeah, and I like that swing from Gordon. She just kind of let that ball travel, trying to go opposite field, not trying to do too much there, just try to get that run in.
Close pitch. Heron trying to nibble the outside corner.
This is a tight spot for Heron. You got to be very close. You can't give in any. Probably going to live low in the zone again.
So both times of the plate now for Gordon. She's worked a full count. Last time up, she took a walk. Payoff. Turned and foul.
We didn't mention this last batter, but that's just Goodwin's second strikeout of the season. You don't strike her out much. That was huge. Because, I mean, if she gets on, you got runners to the corner, nobody out. I mean, that's big-time trouble.
Indeed. Payoff pitch number 2 is upstairs for ball 4. And the first time this season that Heron has walked more than 2 in a game.
You just got to tip your cap to Gordon once again. Expert at bats, doesn't expand the zone, fights off pitches that are strikes if she needs to, works that walk, but not also terribly damaging for Heron here with the double play in order.
First pitch strike on the outer edge.
You also just can't sleep on Ellison, though, with her batting average. Had the single her first time up, so she's a red-hot hitter.
Now, Ellison hit .274 a season ago, but has exploded to hitting .446 now here in her senior campaign. Coach Baldwin said, she's got a lot stronger, much more physical player going into last year, and said she didn't really have the results to show for it, but if you go back and watch her at bats in the postseason, in those big games, the regional, the super regional, he said she was barreling up just about everything.
Just hit a lot of atom balls, and unfortunately that's the way the game goes, but you can see her pop. 6 home runs on the year. She's legit.
This ball's well hit to deep center, off of the wall. Ellison will be held to a single, but it's an RBI single as Gordon stops at third. Sullivan in to score to make it 2-0.
Wow. That was nearly a home run again there for Ellison, looking for home run number 7. Look at that. Goes opposite field. That's a good pitch, but she drives it. Reagan Johnson just beyond her outstretched glove, but that's production from Ellison out of the 5 spot. And Georgia's thinking, hey, we're not done yet.
Second hit of the ball game for Ellison. Marissa Miller, first pitch, knocks it through the hole at short to drive in another run. Bulldog bats are hot on a Friday afternoon.
Man, they sure are. That is a great approach at the plate. I like that aggression. Heron, after giving up that pitch, is trying to get ahead likely, so you think you're going to get something to handle. You do. Nice job doing a job, just going through the 6 hole and driving in a run.
Tenth RBI of the year for Miller. That pitch outside, 1-1 now to Novickis.
I think those 2 wild pitches really kind of changed the inning a little bit in terms of the way Heron was having to pitch, because runner at third, 1 out facing Gordon, you didn't feel like you could come in and attack as much, nibbled, and then Georgia, being expert, made it pay off.
This ball hit to the gap in left center, all the way to the wall. Ellison in to score, Miller down to third. It's an RBI double for Gabby Novickis.
Once again, Josh, that's a great at-bat. Novickis driving one, waiting for a pitch to handle, and that was a big-time drive to the gap.
Another look at this swing.
As that pitch is elevated, Novickis drills it to left center field. Georgia's pouring it on with another run, and they still got 2 aboard in scoring position to do more damage.
The pitching change for the Razorbacks. We'll formally introduce you to the new pitcher when we come back. The opener, one of the nation's best, Robin Heron. Georgia able to figure her out and put some good swings on it here in this 3rd inning. Right now it's a string of 3 straight hits, and 5 of 6 in the inning have reached safely. And so pressure's on for the freshman who's answered the call so far this year, JB.
Yeah, that she has. Timmerman's got good stuff. Mid to upper 60s is where she'll sit. She's got a really good job of splitting the zone. Great off speed, spinny. Got to be careful with Timmerman, but this is a big moment for a youngster. She's pitched well in the non-con against really good competition, but And this might be the ultimate test, really thrown to the wolves, if you will, in the opening weekend of conference play.
Three and one now. Emily Digby flied out to center field first time up. 500 hitter on the year, though, in the 8-hole. Ground ball, back up the middle. It's a 4-run frame for the Bulldogs.
That's the definition of keeping your foot on the gas pedal. Digby not trying to do too much. Down low with the zone, went with the pitch, able to drive it right back up the middle. And, boy, Georgia's showing no signs of letting up.
Bailey Lindemuth, first pitch, hard grounder. Davison able to stop it, and the flip to second, not in time. Digby able to slide in just ahead of the throw.
That ball was smoked off the bat. So really tough to try to pick that up. But Lindemuth reaching base. That's what happens when you put the bat on ball, and it was smoked.
Regardless of if it gets scored as a hit or an error, it's an RBI for Lindemuth at the bottom of the lineup. And now the 9th hitter of the inning, Kirsten Ruse, steps in and takes first pitch strike.
Well, you got to credit Timmerman a little bit, too, of pitching to contact, getting balls in play. Georgia's done a good job of squaring them up, but you got to play where you know, in play as a defense, you feel like you get a chance to roll one or at least get an out.
Does get scored as a fielder's choice E4. It's only Arkansas's 5th error as a team this year. Came in leading the nation 991.
Naturally, still a lot of ball game left, but after not playing much last year against each other, Georgia and Arkansas, coming to Fayetteville, the Bulldogs have tried to make a statement early.
Ground ball towards second. Davison to second for one, and that's all they'll get.
And one thing's for sure, Timmerman's not been scared to throw strikes and attack hitters. That was a big out. You're still not out of the woods yet. 10th batter due up now in the inning. Batting around is Georgia.
Delaney Sullivan falls behind, 0-1.
She started this whole mess for Georgia with that big-time single to left field, and then little did Georgia know that would equate to 5 runs in the inning.
The 0-2. High fly ball in center field. Up into the bright sky. Johnson makes the catch. And the side retired. So Timmerman out of the bullpen to stop the bleeding. But Georgia, 5 runs, and they lead it 6-0.
Things rolling in Bogle Park. How about Randy Rolling? Dealing early for the Bulldogs. She's got a 6-0 lead to work with, but man, she's really helped herself keeping Arkansas off balance. 3 different strikeouts to some really good Arkansas hitters. She's looking to keep that rolling with a 6-0 lead.
Yeah, you give her a 6-0 lead, and you're feeling pretty confident about your chances. Razorbacks have managed to get a hit with 2 outs in each of the first 2 innings. 3 reaching safely first time through the lineup. Here's Reagan Johnson to try to get it going.
know, it's the second time through the lineup for Arkansas, and really any offensive team, you like to see second time through the lineup being a little bit more aggressive, or at least knowing what you're getting, you're a little bit more comfortable. So we'll see how Rolling responds second time through. Well, you don't want to put Johnson on. Her speed is very dangerous.
Strike on the upper half.
Arkansas just wants to get something started in the inning. Would love a leadoff base runner if at all possible.
There they got it. Yeah, just one at a time. That's got to be the approach here.
Well, you saw Coach Gasso in the huddle in between innings there. Definitely a little bit more of a sense of urgency. Probably just at bats approaching just a little bit different after that second time through now.
Third year on staff, first as an associate head coach for DJ Gasso. Matt Michael, associate head coach, now in his 10th overall season too with the Razorbacks. That's in for a strike.
Well, to get ahead of Dakota Kennedy, who had a 3-home-run day last time out against Kansas, she's got some firepower. But she did strike out her first time, and she'll have to battle here.
Ground ball to the right side, flip to second for one. Relay not in time, but they do cut down the lead runner.
It's a big out to get Reagan Johnson as the lead runner, just because of the pressure that she applies on the base pads. That ball wasn't quite sharp enough to get Kennedy on the roll up the middle.
Big cut at the first pitch for Ella McDowell, who worked a full count and then doubled to center field back in the first inning. This ball is hammered deep center field. It is gone. Fifth round tripper of the year for Ella McDowell.
Man, that ball was mashed from McDowell. She got a big cut on the first one. This one was a little bit elevated even further, and McDowell was on. That's a tough one to get on. Upstairs, drills it to center field. And just like that, Arkansas is on the board.
Now they just needed that one big swing to feel something to just break up the rhythm of Rolling. Something to feel good about. Ella McDowell pumps some vibes through the home dugout. And yeah, it's still a 4-run game, but kind of gives you a little glimmer of light. Still early in the ball game.
That's just a big shot in the arm for Arkansas. As you mentioned, yeah, you got to have some glimmer of light shine through. You know you got the power, but you've got to be able to get something going against Georgia's Rolling, who has been filthy in the circle. They've kept her off balance really all game. Has Rolling these offensive hitters.
Home crowd trying to stand up for Tiana Bell right there. You mentioned earlier two players that came from Cal, former Golden Bears, and Rolling got the strikeout on 3 pitches first time up. You know Tiana Bell would like some revenge here.
No doubt, against her former teammate, you bet.
Kept it away from her and got her to go after it.
She's lived outside as rolling against Tiana Bell, trying to go outside. She feels like maybe she has some leverage there and an advantage. Bell trying to fight that pitch off to get something she can drive.
How about Tiana Bell? 877 slugging percentage for the senior, hitting 474.
No big deal.
And that was only her 3rd strikeout of the season in her 58th at bat in the first inning. So Rolling able to do something that not many can against Tiana Bell.
Well, you know those two have faced each other back as teammates in the offseason at Cal years ago, right? So they've seen each other. It's been a minute perhaps, but the competition is there. Bell certainly wants to find a way to get on after the strikeout last time these two players faced.
Oh, when you get a veteran like that in the transfer portal, they knew what Bell could do. She was a 347 hitter a year ago, but coming in now and hitting 474, I mean, that's nobody could expect that. That would be an unrealistic expectation, but certainly knew that she's an All-American caliber player when she's at her best. This one softly popped up and sliding in. Ruse able to make the catch.
That's an adventure of a play because that ball's got a lot of backspin on it to the right side, so it tails away from the second baseman, Ruse. She had to go down to a knee and kind of slide in to make that catch. That could have been an adventure and could have reached if she wasn't able to time that and get there. So a great jump for Ruse at second.
Brings up Brinley Bain. Oh, you hear coaches talk about a lot the importance of 2-out hitting, and that's where games are decided is can you hit with 2 outs. So Brinley Bain hitting .532 overall as a freshman. Her batting average jumps up, JB, to .667 with 2 outs on the board.
Sheesh, 2/3 of the time she's getting on base with a hit. Not just on base, with a hit. OBP's higher than that. So to see Bain, what she's done in her freshman campaign, certainly does. You couldn't expect that either. Couldn't at all. But man, she is playing well above her years, I can assure you. And to do that as a catcher too, that speaks volumes.
There you go. 4-pitch walk for Brinley Bain.
And to speak the volume of the numbers that she's done, she's reached safely at every single collegiate game that she's played in. Obviously, it's just her freshman season, but that is incredible.
Georgia talking things over here. Saying, hey, we got to slam the door right here. Still early in this ball game. Can't let them spark a rally right now. Still got a 4-run lead. Let's make sure that they know it.
Well, every base runner counts. Certainly both teams will tell you that. But when you got the hitters in your lineup that with one swing can put runs on the board, that's why base runners are important.
Rolling struck out Wyckoff first time up. Here's a grounder to the right side, picked up by Ruse to first in time, and the side retired. Razorbacks get 2 runs. They trail 6-2. We'll talk with Georgia coach Tony Baldwin when we come back. Leading 6-2. Bulldogs coming off of a big 5-run 3rd inning, JB, in which they forced the hand to go to the bullpen. Sailor Timmerman comes out, gives up a hit to the first batter she faces, but then got a couple of ground balls and a pop-up after that and looked pretty comfortable in the circle.
Yeah, I think so. You needed that if you're Arkansas. After Georgia, give them credit, jumping on Robin Herron, able to bounce back was Arkansas and Timmerman in the circle, able to kind of steady things a little bit. Then the offense got going for the Razorbacks.
Swing and a miss, 1-1. 10 brought to the plate in that big third inning for the Bulldogs. So they get Robin Herron for 6 runs. Keep in mind, Herron had only given up 7 runs on the year in 37 1/3 innings pitched. And make no mistake, we probably haven't seen the last of Robin Herron in this series, and you'd expect when they do see her again, she's going to come out hair on fire.
No doubt. A little fiery vengeance for sure.
Bouncing ball to short. Rio takes care of it. Goodwin retired here to start the 4th inning.
It's a big out to begin because Goodwin's such a tone setter offensively. Her pop, her ability to square up balls. By no means are you out of the woods because of these lineups, but it's always big to get that first out to kind of feel like as a pitcher in the circle, you've got a little bit of an advantage.
First pitch gets away, no harm with nobody on base. This is the 4th time in relief for the right-hander Sailor Timmerman. Just fouled on the right side. Timmerman coming off of her toughest outing of the year last Sunday against Kansas. Got hit a little bit, uncharacteristically so, but the ERA still looking good at 2.07. This is a fly ball to left field into the glove of Dakota Kennedy.
Timmerman there pitching to contact, but able to get, I wouldn't say weak contact because that ball was hit well, but just wasn't quite barreled. Got under it a little bit too, and that's what you want if you're Timmerman. Pitch to contact, just make sure it's not squared up.
Eclipsed 1,000 career strikeouts in high school there at Lakeland Union in Wisconsin. Towering fly ball, deep left center field, going back, it is gone! How about it for Tyler Ellison, her 3rd hit of the game, and that's her 7th homer of the year.
Well, the batter previous didn't quite square it up. Ellison did, however. Every bit of this up and in. Man, you're right. Moonshot, if you will. Oh, it's daytime, but Ellison, my goodness, aiming for the skies out there in left field. And with the wind, gets up in the jet stream. No problem for Ellison.
Big time. 2nd home run of the game hit by Georgia. And a conference between the 2 freshmen, Brinley Bain and Sailor Timmerman. And now Georgia will take the opportunity to talk with Marissa Miller. Now the catcher, the batter struggled a little bit here to start the season, but they know she's going to get it going, and maybe today is the day. RBI hit last time up, drew a walk in the 1st inning, so good things happening for Marissa Miller.
And you can always breathe a little bit easier, too, when you've got a 7-2 lead. There's not as much pressure to try to deliver. You certainly want to, but you don't feel like you're crunched as much to be in the clutch.
Miller had a monster game last Saturday against UNC Wilmington. 5 RBI, including her first homer of the year. Her first career grand slam in that Saturday ball game. Turned around and had 3 walks and an RBI against Georgia State earlier this week.
Yeah, she's had to combine, 9 RBIs if you include the RBI today over the last 4 games.
Yeah.
Producing. She had 1 previous in the previous games in the season.
Lifted up into shallow right center. Davison chases it down, and the side retired. Tyler Ellison with a solo home run in the top of the 4th, and it's Georgia with a 7-2 advantage. Back at Bogle Park, Georgia leading Arkansas 7-2 in the SEC opener as we move to the bottom of the 4th. And now joining us, head coach Courtney Deifel. Coach, it seems like offensively your team's starting to figure some things out against Randy Rolling. What have you seen in your team's approach at the plate the last couple innings?
Yeah, I think they're just grinding to have better at bat each time. So usually we figure it out at some point, and so there's a lot of game left, and we're going to keep chipping away.
Coach, the energy seemed to change a good bit with McDowell's bomb. How big was that for your team in the dugout especially?
Oh, really huge, really huge. It just takes one little spark to really light a fire, and so hopefully we carry that momentum.
Thanks for the time, Coach. Good luck the rest of the way.
Thank you. We pick.
Head coach Courtney Deifel. Her team down 7-2, but a lot of softball left to be played. And when you've got a lineup like they do, no lead seems insurmountable.
That's right. And with the wind blowing out, too, all it takes is one swing at times. Right now, Arkansas needs base runners, so it's going to take more than one swing, but just got to piece together good at-bats against a really good pitcher.
Carly Davison, valuable asset that transferred in from Utah, returning player who's just having a monster year, but one of those players wearing the captain's C and one of those that knows what it takes to get to Omaha. Went to the College World Series with Utah back in 2022. That seems like a very valuable thing to have on your roster when that's the goal, is how do we find a way to get to the College World Series down in Oklahoma City.
It's been certainly a tough task for Arkansas, the one thing that seemed to evade them, but it's hard to get there, John. I mean, it's so hard to make it that far. Takes a little bit of luck to get there too, but it helps when you have players that have been there and you build that culture around it.
Got her swinging. Davison, who had a base hit first time up, that's only her 2nd strikeout of the year.
Yeah, I think so many good hitters in the Arkansas lineup. Arguably the hardest to strike out's Carly Davison, and that's just expertly done by Randy Rolling. Up and away, keeping that hitter off balance and just not coming into the wheelhouse. Big strikeout.
That's 4 strikeouts now for Rolling. Has retired the leadoff now in 3 of 4 innings as Italia Rio, who got hit by a pitch, by the first pitch she saw first time up, fouls off the first one here.
Well, you know how good Rio is defensively. I think sometimes her offense is overshadowed by how good everyone else in the offensive lineup is, but Rio might be one of the better hitting shortstops in the conference. Her glove certainly speaks for itself, but you can't sleep on her offense either.
No, and it's just gotten better and better. Last year, a really breakout year offensively after missing most of 2024. Hit 318 a season ago, and now up over 350. Back-to-back strikeouts for Rolling here to start the 4th.
Wow, that's a great spin from Rolling. Really big start to this inning. That one just falls off the table. Rio just trying to poke that bat out. You could tell off balance. Rolling's still at her best stuff right now, getting better with time.
Ramsey Walker, first pitch, fouled back. Rolling coming off of that no-hitter against South Alabama last weekend. 1 walk, 7 strikeouts. The 5-inning run rule victory. Comes the 0-1. Little dribbler to first base. Novickus picks it up, steps on the bag, and the side retired in order. 7-2, Georgia in front as we head to the 5th. Not expecting them to have 7 runs on the board through 4 innings, but certainly this is not a team that you expect to beat 1-0 or 2-1. You figure you got to put some runs on the board to beat them, and they have not disappointed here today.
They've hit the home run ball a couple times. They've hit the double. I mean, the extra base hit. And a lot of singles, too. But you're right. They have certainly come, and they have brought the sticks to Fayetteville.
7 of 9 in the lineup already have reached base safely. With 6 of those, at least 1 hit on the afternoon. Lined into right field for a base hit. Gabby Novickus with her 2nd hit in a row.
I love that swing, too. Just going opposite field with the pitch, on a line, well placed, and another leadoff hitter just the 2nd time today. But you know what they did last time they put the leadoff hitter on?
Back in that big 3rd inning. Slice down the right side. Digby with an RBI hit last time up. She was the first batter to face Sailor Timmerman, who came out of the bullpen for the starter Robin Heron. Digby greeted Timmerman with a hit. Junior's had some big at-bats throughout her career. Not only did she homer in their upset win over Nebraska earlier this year, but she homered in the Super Regional a year ago. That helped force the if game. That super against Florida. 4-6-3, double play.
Well, there you have it. Timmerman, just what the doctor ordered. That's a good pitch. Well struck, hit sharply enough to turn it. The ball's hit by Digby, but Davison Riho to Bell, no problem.
Lindemuth, first pitch, a scorched ground ball off of Tiana Bell's glove and trickles into right field.
And to have that out of the 9-hole, she is seeing the ball well. Another ball that was hit sharply to that right side of the infield.
How about 10 hits now for the Bulldogs? As it's back to the top of the order. Ruse lines one into right field. Makes that double play even that much more important now.
Now that's everybody in the lineup reach safely now, right? For
Indeed.
Georgia.
Yep.
And all of them have had a hit except for Gordon,
who's got a pair of walks. Lenny Sullivan digs in and takes ball 1.
Yeah, I think that double play you mentioned, I think it's monumental because what this inning could be for Georgia. They have certainly seen the ball well here in Game 1 in the SEC opener.
Sullivan, the first-year transfer from Kentucky. Got her Bulldog career started off on the right foot. Homered on opening day. 7 extra base hits in her first 13 starts this year. That equaled her total that she had last year in 39 starts. Player that's been on a tear. That one gets away. Both runners advance. That could prove to be costly. Takes away now the force out to try to get the third out. And no room for error here with 2 in scoring position.
Yeah, this is, one swing away from really kind of breaking this thing open for Georgia. Got to be careful if you're Timmerman.
Ground ball to short. Rio was blinded for a moment by the runner, who did a good job to shield it. But the sure-handed shortstop gets the Hogs out of the inning unscathed. 7-2. Bulldogs in front as we go to the bottom of the 5th. Bottom of the 5th. Razorback royalty. Bree Ellis, Collegiate Player of the Year. Yeah, I would imagine that everywhere she goes. Look at that. Yep, autograph right on cue. How many of those you think she's had to sign today? Not had to. She's a great person. She wants to, but.
Sure. So special to see, isn't it? She's a special player. Josh, you going to go get something signed after the game too, or maybe wait till tomorrow?
I'll wait till tomorrow because we'll have Bree Ellis up in the booth with us for a portion of tomorrow's broadcast. The presence of greatness and continuing her professional career as well.
So what you're saying is you want to tune in tomorrow for sure.
That's right. Scheduled 5 o'clock Central first pitch tomorrow for Game 2 of the series. Reagan Johnson drew a walk last time up. Grounded out to the pitcher back in the first inning. Georgia got a run in the first this afternoon. A solo homer from Jaden Goodwin. Then they exploded for 5 in the third, tacked on 1 in the fourth. And just as it seemed, JB, as Arkansas was maybe going to get the bats going, they had that 2-run third. Randy Rolling turns around and goes 1-2-3 in the fourth. That was a good job by the veteran lefty to just kind of really stop that momentum that the home team was trying to build.
Yeah, it controlled things. 2 strikeouts to begin, and then weak contact to the right side. So she really took command. Said, "Hey, no, if you're gonna come back and win this game, you're gonna really earn it." She's certainly dealing.
Yeah, she's got her stuff today. And as you pointed out early in the broadcast, Coach Tony Baldwin said, the focus for her has been to throw strikes that aren't easy to hit. Living in that margin where it's a borderline pitch all the way. But so much trust built up in the 5'9" junior from Modesto, California. Complete game win in the regional IF game last year, then had a save in their win in the Super Regional. 2 wins and a save in the final 3 postseason games last year for her. As a grounded to short, and Digby had to make everything perfect, and she was, to get the speedy Reagan Johnson.
Yeah, flashing a little leather, but then you get to see the arm, too, from Digby. I love that footwork. Just immediately gloving. She's already planting her feet to throw. She doesn't have time to rear back and step. She's got to kind of do it all in one motion to get Reagan Johnson. That's textbook there from Digby.
She's the leader of their infield. A team that takes a lot of pride in defense. Came in fielding it at .988, third best in the country. As Dakota Kennedy steps in. Takes that for a strike.
What I've liked about Rolling is, as you mentioned, living the margin. She's placed well. Velo's been good. She's got a lot of movement on her pitches too, so she's done a good job of locating while also mixing up her pitches.
Foul tip held on to by Miller for the strikeout.
Have a day, Randy Rolling. Man, oh man. That's a good pitch again downstairs. Just the top of it for Kennedy. Foul tips it into the catcher's mitt. But Rolling, give her another strikeout. I think she's getting even tougher and tougher to hit.
Little conference here. You know, for Arkansas, 9th in the country this week in the USA softball top 25. How about in the NCAA, 93 consecutive times in the top 25 for this Razorback program, one of just 5 to have appeared in every NCAA top 25 since the start of the 2020 season. Oklahoma, Florida, UCLA, and Florida State being the others. But that's the consistency, the sustained success for Courtney Deifel and company.
And for as good as Rolling's been, McDowell's been about the only hitter that's consistently been able to touch her up pretty good.
Head 2-0. Fouled back. Yeah, so for McDowell going back to that 3rd inning.
Pitch that was elevated, and she didn't miss it. Got the Hogs on the board, really raised the energy there in the dugout, but Rolling has responded, and she's been able to work around that, but she's not been able to retire McDowell today. It's been the only blemish.
Three and one now. McDowell wondering if she'll get anything to hit here. She'll take her walk. Goes after one pitch in the plate appearance, but that's a level of maturity there, considering you've already got 2 extra base hits. Not chasing anything, understanding the situation of, hey, if it's going to be the old intentional yet unintentional walk, we'll take it because we just need base runners right now.
That's a sign of a selfless player and a veteran player, as you mentioned. Yeah, get on base any way possible. You need runners. Then you need to string them together. Need some hits to come through for sure, but got to figure out something against Rolling, who's been just dynamite in the circle.
Great job behind the plate there by Miller to keep that close, and they keep McDowell at first.
You know what's been impressive for Rolling? She struck out Arkansas 5 times. Just a team that strikes out an average about 2.3 times per game. She's doubled up that number against Arkansas.
That outside pitch has been the one that looks good to Bell, but has not been able to find it so far.
I don't think they've come inside to Bell once. I think every pitch that's been a strike has been on the outer portion. This is the first hitters count that Bell's drawn, though, so she's been behind the count a couple of times.
Foul out of play right side.
You know, you can't cheat that way, but again, that was outside. You almost wonder if Bell wants to just kind of be leaning over a little bit. The moment you do that, they'll bust you inside.
Right.
But almost expecting it outside again.
Count is full now. Is this the time where you try to surprise her and maybe run a rise ball in high and tight?
You know, I think I'd still stick with it outside. Live outside, see if she'll expand the zone. Bell just needs to let it travel and go with the pitch if she can.
Well, that's indeed the plan, and a mature take from Tiana Bell. Back-to-back two-out walks here.
It sure was a great take from Bell. Very veteran. Because that's a pitcher's pitch, low in the zone, looks maybe enticing, but Bell was able to pick it up off the bat, or I guess out of the hand, really. And so now Arkansas got a chance here with their lethal freshman at the dish.
Bain drew a 4-pitch walk last time up, grounded out in the second inning. The results today. Strike just on the upper edge.
See what they try to throw to Bain here. It's just all stuff moving from left to right on your screen, away from Bain. Lots of movement. Just trying to keep Bain off balance. You don't want her, if you're Georgia, to get a hold of anything.
Strike again at the top part.
I mean, that's 3 straight pitches that have been off speed. That one was definitely pulling the string a lot more for rolling, but it's moving to that right outer portion of the zone. That's a great take. I mean, boy, that's a lot of swing and miss right there for a lot of hitters. But Bain takes that one just low. Whew.
Two-two. Popped up, drifting foul. And Lindemuth able to track it down. Razorbacks leave 2 on base in the 5th. And Georgia still a commanding lead. Bulldogs, everybody contributing just the way it's been for most of this season. Ellison with a big home run and Randy Rolling doing her job in the circle as the Bulldogs got into the bullpen in the 3rd. And the lone run support coming off of a 2-run homer from Ella McDowell.
Yeah, and for Georgia, you know, they almost feel like they should have more runs than 7. That big first inning, they left them loaded. For Arkansas catching a break, they're trying to keep it 7-2 because this Georgia lineup 1 through 9 reached base safely, but they've had a few of them with multiple hit days.
Lifted up, drifting foul into the left field corner. What a, oh my goodness. Hard collision as Kennedy had it in her glove. But the ribs were totally exposed as she crashed into the fence, and good to see that she's back up and appears to be okay.
Man, that was quite the effort. The resiliency for Kennedy down the line. I mean, know in the back of your mind the padding's coming. She catches it right here, but then the collision. Glove goes over the railing, and that ball, because of that jolt action, kind of whiplash of the glove, if you will, the ball slides out. So a break for Georgia, but nearly a SportsCenter top 10 type play.
This one lifted up high in the air, and Johnson under it to make the catch. So they retire. Good one anyway. Yeah, you got to make a softball move after you bring it in, right, for it to be considered a catch. Hey, if anybody would be able to make that call, it's the third base umpire, Marty Abazishan, one of the best in the business and also an NFL replay assistant.
Well, there you go. Some deep knowledge there, Josh.
Well, hey.
Man of many talents over there at third is what you're telling me.
That's right. Pair of walks today for Sarah Gordon. It's been some key wins for Georgia this year over ranked teams. 3, in fact, over teams currently showing up in the top 25, and Sarah Gordon's played as big of a role in that as anybody. In the 3 wins over ranked opponents, 5 of 9, and all 5 of her hits going for extra bases with 6 runs driven in. So the senior from Lexington, South Carolina, carries a big bat in big ball games.
No doubt about that. Really, the only thing she's missing today to join the party is a hit.
Yep. Drifting foul down the left field line. And Coach Baldwin told us about Sarah Gordon. He said she's a great example of someone being themselves. You know, you want players to be the best version of them. Don't try to be anything you're not or be somebody else. Just off the upper outside corner. She's seen her fair share of pitches today. That was the 3rd time she had worked a full count. And the 3rd time that she ends up taking a walk.
You know, that's the things that go unnoticed sometimes is just, you know, even when everyone else is getting a hit, her working the count against these pitchers are helping and aiding these other offensive players to get hits and get good at bats. So Gordon doing a great job. Anytime you walk 3 times in a game against pitching like this, that's telling you all you need to know of what kind of hitter she is. Very, very disciplined.
3 for 3 day for Tyler Ellison, including the home run last time up.
Yeah, that ball, I started to wonder if it would ever come down for Ellison. As high as she hit it, my goodness.
Ground ball to third. They go to second, and no, foul ball. Off the bat. Called strike at the upper edge of the zone.
It's funny to see on that foul ball. Coach Baldwin was the first one to call his hands up because he knew it was off the foot. Certainly didn't want that double play. It was a big foul call.
Nearly able to catch that dipping liner, McDowell. Natalie Ray, by the way, running at first base.
That's a play McDowell wants back. Really for Arkansas, a few uncharacteristic stuff. Just the pressure that Georgia's put on certainly has a lot to blame for that, I'm sure.
I give the Bulldogs credit. Fouling another one off.
I don't know that we've seen really one bad at bat from Georgia today. I mean, every bat, even the strikeouts have been where they fought through the count a little bit. They have certainly made it tough against the Arkansas pitching in terms of just working the count.
Fourth-year player Tyler Ellison in the lineup the majority of last year. Talked about the massive strides that she's made offensively. You're kind of seeing it right here, her ability to cover up and then identify pitches that are out of the zone to work back in the count.
Yeah, and she's doing that against two different pitchers. 3 for 3 day. She's barreling it up. I mean, you're locked in as anybody. If you're fouling off, working these types of counts, you are as locked in as can be. It's almost like you're so confident you know where that ball's going to be. You know immediately when the ball's out of the hand to know, hey, I'm taking that, or hey, I got to fight that off because it's going to be close.
Another payoff. There you go.
Anytime you get a hitter in that situation like Ellison right there, you almost feel like you're either going to have to pitch to her and get her to contact because you're probably not going to strike her out unless you really get some velo or something because she's not chasing. She was taken all the way unless it was close enough to try to fight off.
First pitch strike in to Marissa Miller. Rio steps on second for one. And the Razorbacks turn their second double play of the afternoon. Keeps the Bulldogs off the scoreboard.
Have a day, Randy Rolling. My goodness. Strikeout after strikeout, it seems, against a team in Arkansas that doesn't strike out much at all. And she is not given a hit up ahead against Arkansas on 11 straight batters. A few walks here and there, but she has certainly kept Arkansas off balance. A team in the Razorbacks that averaged 10 hits a game. She's held them to just 3. That 2-run bomb by Ella McDowell, that's been it. And there's the numbers for Rolling. I think they speak for themselves.
Yeah, you count on your veterans in games and series like this, and Randy Rolling has answered the call.
But there's a reason you play 7, right?
That's right. Little communication device error right there. Kaylee Wyckoff, a 625 OBP whenever she leads off the inning. See if that bodes well for the Razorbacks here. They've only had the leadoff aboard one time. That was back in the 3rd. That's a good pitch at the knees on the inside edge.
I feel like we've said that a lot today for Rolling. She has not missed many times. The one time perhaps was to McDowell, was left up in the zone, but she has been dialed in to say the least.
Had a sharp one hop. Ruse had to make a sliding attempt to try to backhand it. That's a tough play to try to make.
And that was smoked by Wyckoff. Going pull side here. Over the heart of the plate, one hop. Yeah, good luck for a second baseman. That's a hit all day. Unless you flash the leather and take a hit away. Wyckoff hit that one so sharply. That was going to be a tough play all the way.
Agreed. That one doesn't get out of play, but out of reach of Georgia. For Carly Davison, who's 1 of 2. Fouling off another, now down 0-2.
I like how Rolling's bouncing back after giving up that sharply hit, just trying to attack Carly Davison. Anytime you got a lead as a pitcher, right? Just trying to pound the zone, try to get ahead. Arkansas, though, you got to be careful. Got to live in that margin, as Coach Baldwin talked about.
Lifted up into right field. Well, you come in the game, the ball will find you. Natalie Ray, who pinch ran for Gordon and then stayed in as the right fielder, makes the play there.
Yeah, you're going to get some action. You get on the field, you're going to get them. Davison, good job to put that opposite field going with the pitch. It just hung in the air too long, but it was well struck by Davison.
Oh, for the Razorbacks, who have 14 run rule victories this year, their lowest run total is 2 against Virginia, third game of the season. Ground ball to second. They flip there for 1 to first. Double play. 4-6-3. Digby with the quick exchange. And Georgia pays back Arkansas. 7-2 Bulldogs. We go to the 7th. Last play ended up being challenged and reviewed, and the call on the field stands. It is a 4-6-3 double play for the Georgia Bulldogs. 7-2. Visitors in front as we go to the 7th. Well, the always tough SEC. Arkansas, one of 6, ranked in the top 9. Georgia not far behind, and then you also have A&M. So 8 in the top 15. Just another year in the SEC, though, right, JB?
That it is. The gauntlet that is the SEC slate. That's why every win means so much. And Georgia trying to get off to a hot start, and that they have offensively. And really, Rolling pitched brilliantly in the circle, too, so far.
Novickus wasted no time. The freshman from Chicago finding a rhythm. One earned run through 3 2/3 innings for Sailor Timmerman out of the bullpen for the Razorbacks.
It's really all you can ask for from a freshman to come in and only give up 1 earned run through what's nearing 4 innings. Giving her team a chance, certainly. Just the run production's been stymied by Rolling.
Davison able to stop it, but they won't get anything out of it. It was lined right past Timmerman.
It's a tough play, though, Josh. I mean, it's kind of got a little bit of backspin on it, too. It hops up higher, so she was trying to go to the front hand, and then that came a little higher where maybe the backhand was going to be the better play, but it hit so smoothly and jumped up. It's really tough to make that adjustment so quick. Davison, one of the best at reading that, so you don't blame her there one bit.
Does get scored as a hit here at the ballpark. To the right side. Only play to first. Digby retired. Brings up Bailey Lindemuth, who's 1 for 3 with an RBI. You know, pitching-wise for the Razorbacks, a lot of glamour with what they do offensively, but they've been awfully stingy as well, posting a 1.90 ERA as a staff on the season. And only twice this year coming in had they given up double-digit hits, but the 12 they've allowed today is the most this season. As that's grounded to the right side. Davison again to retire Lindemuth. Mitchell down to third base.
Yeah, the Georgia Bats have certainly come in and done what they're supposed to do on opening day. I mean, 6 earned runs against Arkansas. The hit totals have been there. They've come ready to swing it, and that they have. The difference in the game, though, back in that top of the third, that 5-run crooked inning. The difference for Georgia.
Good job by Bain to keep that one close with that runner on third. It's already a tall enough task chasing 5 runs. Can't afford to let it swell in anymore. Grounded to short. Rio fires across, retires Kirsten Ruse, and the side. Last chance for the Razorbacks. 3 outs left to try to find 5 runs. Josh Haley and JB Brazil back with you from Bogle Park. 7-2 Georgia in this SEC opener for both sides. The Razorbacks trying to find a little home field magic here. Tall task against Randy Rolling, who's been so good so far today. You look at what the junior southpaw has done in her 10th start of the season. Razorbacks will pinch hit here to start the 7th inning. Ashton Reichard. Three for 7 at the plate, including a homer and 4 RBI. Also walked a couple of times. It's been dynamic as a pinch hitter. One of the hardest things to do in sports. But yet somehow this Razorback coaching staff always seems to have reliable, even more so than that, dynamic pinch hitting, if you will.
I think it's because you got so many different hitters in that lineup that are on the bench because you can only play 9 that could come in and start. I mean, Reichardt's one of those that could start. Offensively, she's that good. It's such a luxury to have that. However, it is tough to come off the bench and pinch hit in a big moment.
Taken all the way there. Now it gets interesting. Full count to the pinch hitter, Ashton Reichard. Called strike 3. Rolling with her 7th punch out.
Look at this pitch going down and away. Hits the outer corner and Rollins fired up. That's a big out to begin the 7th inning, and now Georgia's just 2 outs away.
Trying to bunt, and Miller picked that up on the hop right in front of home plate. A fair ball. Fires down to first. And Courtney Deifel wants a word. Will be called foul now.
That's the right call. Initially, I think he was just letting it play out, and then it ends up calling that foul ball.
Seven strikeouts, tying her season high. on the cusp of her 30th career win.
Well, you throw her in, and then when you get Addison Fisher back, who's been dealing with that injury day to day, they've got some really good arms there in that rotation for Georgia.
Towards the gap in right center. No sense in chancing it there. Johnson knows it. And she continues to close in on the program record for hits, held by one of your broadcast partners from last weekend, Hannah McEwen, the great,
right,
with 261. Johnson is now at 249.
Wow. She really is creeping up on that. That's a big record to try to chase, too. Yeah, I had a great time with Hannah McEwen. She's great.
First pitch here, sliding stop at second. Kirsten Ruse. It's a slick play to retire Kennedy.
Yeah, that's a ball that a lot of times is going to find its way into right field, but Ruse, you have to go down to a knee kind of like that, close, and then really give with it as the ball comes in. That is a really nice defensive play.
Razorbacks are down to their final out. Ella McDowell has reached safely all 3 times today, trying to extend this ball game.
I like what Roland's doing, just go after the hitter. 1 out to go, 5-run cushion.
That's off the glove of Rolling, and out is the call. Razorbacks are certainly going to challenge this one.
Arkansas is challenging the out call at first base.
It was bang, bang, real time. But naked eye to me, I thought she was safe off real time. I think a lot of people in the building thought so also.
Another look here. You'll see the deflection off of Rolling's glove.
After review, the ruling on the field has changed. The runner is safe at first base.
There you go.
Arkansas retains their challenge and has 1 remaining.
Razorbacks hanging by a thread here. As Tiana Bell will step to the plate.
There it is again, Josh. Living outside. Rolling has not come inside part to Tiana Bell 1 time today. It's been outside portion all game long, just peppering away.
You know there's going to be some times when she'll continue to take some cuts because, well, face it, with the power that she's got and the damage that she can do, she can take an outside pitch out of the ballpark. It's just being selective on those borderline pitches, which ones to go after.
Give Rolling credit. She's done a great job of being effective to certain hitters, really all of them, and being able to pitch where she needs to.
Called strike 3. 8th strikeout of the game for Randy Rolling, and puts an exclamation point on Georgia's SEC opening win. Big time performance today from the Bulldogs.
Yeah, no doubt about it. Here's the one to end it. Going outside again. Outside portion, off speed for Rolling. Season high 8 strikeouts. And Josh, you know, for as good as the offense was today for Georgia, and they certainly were that, I think you got to tip your cap to Randy Rolling. Anytime you pitch that way against an Arkansas offense who's really no one's been able to do that much to this year, really stifled the offense, kept them off balance. Randy Rolling with a big-time gem in the circle.
Georgia victorious on the road in the SEC opener. It'll set up an exciting matchup tomorrow as the Razorbacks will look to even up the series. The Bulldogs could clinch one on the road. 5 o'clock Central first pitch scheduled tomorrow. Hope you'll join us for that. Until then, for our entire crew and for JB Brazil, Josh Haley saying so long from Bogle Park.